Hi, welcome to Red Barrels Explode. We're having a little juke at Fallout 3 here. Just because recently they officially announced and put out a trailer for Fallout 4. So we're going to doing a little retrospective, just going back and looking at the game that preceded it. Chris is playing the game.
Hello.
I'm Kevin. Hi. At this point you've just come out of the vault.
Yep.
What, 101 is it?
101, yeah.
Yeah. And so this is just the beginning of the game now. This is
the PC Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, it's PC Game of the Year edition, so it looks a lot better than the one I played, which I played this exclusively on the Xbox 360 when it came out. This looks markedly better.
Sorry, the reason I'm standing hovering near this is so that I remember, but part of my favorite thing in the trailer for Fallout 4 was when I think it's a ghoul kicks a shopping cart out of the way, and it looks so fluid. Like it looks like he kind of grabs it and chucks it out of the way. That was one of my favorite bits of the trailer, and I have no real...
You're gonna go kick that trolley just to reinforce the point that the next game looks better. Like, this is what trolley physics were like in Fallout 3. Hopefully, I like that you're focusing on the fact that the next game will have better shopping trolleys and shopping trolley interactions.
Well, I think for me the thing that or what I think will happen is that it won't necessarily have any sort of like more gameplay or anything different than this. I think they'll keep like the core thing, and what will change will be better physics and better graphics, better sort of character AI, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think maybe like the animation in these games, as far as even as far along as Skyrim, that looks very stiff. I think a lot of the actual NPCs and stuff tend not to look particularly great. Also, something else I've noticed, you can kind of feel it now. There's a little bit of bob in the hand there and all that, but I always could never help feeling as if in this game I was just sort of a floating gun and arm, and that, you know, it felt like the character doesn't really have any weight to him or anything like that, because it's not really head bob as such. It's just more sort of like the arm is moving around. You know, it's kind of a little thing, given like the breadth of this game and, you know, Bethesda games in general. Like, it's a small complaint.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I liked, actually, that I think New Vegas did really well was the fact you got iron sights.
Oh yeah,
I think that really,
because does this have like a left trigger type zoom thing going on?
It's got the zoom.
Yeah,
that's it. You still kind of got the gun off to the side.
Yeah, it's not really much of a
crosshair.
Yeah, it's almost just doing like a fisheye effect rather than even really zooming. Yeah.
So I think it works obviously if you have a sniper rifle, but it's kind of nice to be able to have just a normal rifle. Iron sight gives you a bit more sneaking about, shooting things, which is how I like to... Yeah,
just like modernizing the control scheme, because there is, I mean, whether you like it or not, there is a sort of a formula to how first-person shooters control these days. You know, with it has this kind of, you know, there is a left trigger looking down the sights thing in pretty much everything. Yeah. Now, and I guess back then it wasn't really solidly established. I mean, Call of Duty 4 was out and stuff, but that hadn't really been necessarily adopted overall at this time. But yeah, so what are you gonna do now? You're gonna head to Megaton maybe, and just gonna wander around a little bit.
Oh, there's a dead ant. Never mind.
There's that robot. So here we are. This is Megaton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think? I guess the new game is not really set. It's set in Boston. You say it's going to be in Boston?
I think so.
Yeah. So
there was obviously that whole thing where the leak a year ago or whatever that it was going to be set in Boston, then it wasn't set in Boston.
Yeah, there was
it is set in Boston.
There's a very long Reddit thread on that particular subject that was around the time, and people are now going back and looking at that and trying to work out whether or not all this information was actually leaked from someone, or whether there was someone just making stuff up, and maybe they just happened to guess.
I don't know why,
you said
but
there's
I like
a lot
you, boy.
of
Something tells me you're all right. So welcome to Megaton.
Sorry, I got sucked in by his gravelly voice. You said there was a lot of like hints towards Boston.
They talk about Boston in this as one particular quest. that you pick up
Friendly
in,
and well
I can't remember the name of the town,
I
but it's a
think
big
we're gonna
ship
get along just
way over
fine.
on, I think.
Riveton?
You treat my people
Riveton,
nice,
yes,
and
the-
you're welcome
the
to
town, it's
stay
a big
as
boat.
long as you'd like.
But whenever you go there, you pick up a quest that's basically sort of like a weird Blade Runner
I'm glad
reference
we
almost. It feels like it's called The
understand each
Replicated
other.
Man,
Now,
and it's
is
about a
there something I can
replicant that
help?
looks human, and he's on the run from a
Nope,
group that call
sorry.
themselves the Institute, and they're from Boston. So
Fine.
we all assume that the Institute is MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is in Boston. So there are guys
okay.
from Boston chasing him down, and the implication throughout that quest is that there is some kind of society in Boston that exists.
Okay.
And the way they talk about it seems like it's less of a wasteland, so it's not necessarily entirely surprising that they chose to set the next game there, given that what with technology moving forward at the pace it is, you know, they could like have a much more populated place and still have it be as
Which,
vast.
from the trailer, it does seem to be a lot more. Like the city seems to be
Yeah.
have a lot more in it. Like, I mean, this is still pretty cool, but this
Yeah.
is obviously a very small space.
Yeah, I mean this is a village.
Yeah.
This is no city. Even
Yeah.
I mean, even if you go back, like, as far as big places go, even if you look at Skyrim, even like the biggest town in that, I mean, it's big enough, but it still feels kind of small. It's not something you would, if it was in a real place, you would call a city.
Yeah.
Now, the Imperial City in Oblivion had a certain scope to it, like so much so that they had to separate it out into what was essentially different rooms, where you would have to like go through a gate and they would load up the next part. And I like that, but to be able to do maybe something on that scale without having to separate it out
Yeah.
into different little sections is a lot more viable now.
Yeah. And
Where we
something Fallout said and Skyrim both do very well, where you're
Yeah.
kind of like dandering about for ages and there's no loading, and
Yeah.
you get the real scope of holy crap, I'm in a world. Like
Yeah.
you're not just in one tiny little part of it, you're in the
you,
whole world.
you don't feel like you're in a room that just happens to have a skybox on it.
Yeah.
You feel like you're actually outside, which is something of a problem I had with New Vegas. When I got to, like, with Fallout New Vegas, I felt that, you know, the world was big enough and everything like that, but the entire time you're going through the story and they keep alluding to the Strip, you know, the Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's basically...
Pretty underwhelming.
It's basically 3 rooms with no roof. And it was just, yeah, it was not at all what it
Yeah,
felt
I
like.
don't
It
know.
felt
I think-
smaller scale.
I
to
think
me.
I'm not a good person to talk about New Vegas, simply because I really didn't like it.
Okay.
And I always think that's kind of like I can't even really be critical of it, because it's kind of like I just really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was I was waiting so long for, well, not that long I guess, but like it's just, I don't know, this game for me is one of the best games.
It's like in your top 5 ever kind of
yeah,
thing.
definitely. It's just perfect. Obviously, there's, well, not perfect. There's obviously things that you'd like better, like iron
Oh yeah,
sights and that sort
I
of
mean,
thing.
these games are notoriously riddled with bugs as well.
Yeah, but it had a certain charm where you're kind of like walking about for ages and then you fall through the earth and you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, when was my last save?
Yeah, actually, that's something that this game did not do well. Auto saving, they really
Yeah.
they really tightened that up with Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, there were like options regarding it and stuff, but in this game there were. I mean, by the time I had finished this game, I would look at, say, my save game and see you get your time count down there, and you'd say, "Wow, I played this for 90 hours or whatever." But also, what that doesn't take into account is the times when I hadn't saved for hours and then I died. That happened on
right.
that happened to me on many occasions. So I'm thinking that my 90-hour count should be something closer to maybe 200, because there were times where I would sit and I would lose an entire session because all I did maybe was I spawned into the world. Maybe I would load up my game. The way I play these games is I pick a direction and then I just go, and then whenever I come across, now it only saved when you went into loading screens. So if I didn't enter a town in that time, oh yeah, kill that thing. If I hadn't entered a town in that time, I would have no save. I would just be wandering around it. Maybe I would wander around and meet people in the wasteland and talk to them and get quests and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would come across a group of bandits like 2 hours later, and they would kill me. But then I would have lost like 3 or 4 hours of progress, and that happened on an alarmingly regular basis, where I would just forget, because I wasn't playing on a PC. And when I'm playing a game on a PC, my hand's always near F5. I just get the old quick save You know, I learned that lesson harsh in Quake, that you needed to be doing that all the time, and actually in Doom as well. But whenever I'm not playing with a keyboard, I don't think about it. I assume because games have gotten to the point where they put in checkpoints everywhere.
Yeah.
That
You've kind of become lazy.
Yeah, I mean, some games don't even have a save option, and a lot of them don't. Like, kill that dog. Go on. There we go. Nice.
Sorry, I'm just downing about it. I
Right,
figured there was no point kind of going and
doing quests and
Yeah,
chatting
yeah.
people. We're getting focused on the meta aspect of this,
Yeah.
really. But again, I mean, look at this. Look at that. Now, that's great. That look the size of this landscape and the scope. You're still getting attacked.
oh, fly.
That we flies, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you look at this landscape and you think, now this was a long time ago. This game came out, and how far have we moved on since then? So I want to see how they handle the moment, because the moment you come out of the vault in this is really significant.
Yeah.
You come out of there and like it's too bright because theoretically your character has never seen the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it just sort of slowly fades in, and you get this really great vista, like something like this. You're like, wow, this place is huge and barren and really impressive.
And the fact that you can just kind of go, I'm gonna walk all the way over there.
Yeah, you look at that mountains in the distance, and you go, I can get there. So I'm really excited to see that moment in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I want to see how they handle that, because some stuff has been implied about the main character, that maybe you're not playing this character from birth, and this character hasn't been in a vault.
Oh, okay.
It seems to have been implied. I mean, it's not confirmed. We'll probably hear more from Bethesda at their E3 thing.
Yeah.
But it seems to be implied that this person has been frozen since before the war, cryogenically.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been confirmed or not yet, but you know, that's kind of interesting in that it's not someone who has been brought up with knowledge of all of this or this society. It's someone who's maybe going to be shocked to find the world this way.
Yeah.
So it might be quite interesting to see how they set that up and then introduce you to the world after that.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I wasn't too fussed with again, to go back to New Vegas, but just the whole thing of your career.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, but who am I? What am I? You know,
what's my motivation other than I'm going to get revenge for being shot in the head, which is kind of a big thing to avenge.
And to be honest, it's that thing as well of like, well, okay, then you're automatically playing a vengeful character.
Yes, his motivation is revenge, from the word go.
Yeah, whereas this, you know, you can play somebody who wants to find your dad because you hate the fact that he left you.
He does abandon you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, or you can play somebody that wants to find him because you
miss him.
Yeah, you're sad and you want to go find him. And there is like this like great. And he's Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's your dad. That's always going to be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Whereas, I don't know, somebody just shot me in the head. I lived miraculously. I would be probably just going and getting drunk. I don't think, you know, like celebrating. Like, I don't think I would initially be like, I'm going to walk to the other side of this desert to find this guy to kill him. I'd just be like,
you'd spend some time being happy to be alive.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
And maybe later on down the line, I'd maybe be like, yeah. But even then, there's no reason, because you survive. Like, everything's, you have all your faculties.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like he crippled you or anything like that. You know, you just like, you're fine. So I don't know. I just had no reason to go after him.
True, you didn't feel personally invested. I think he's in that house behind you.
Whoa, yeah.
Oh dear. Now, can you use your bats at this point?
Probably.
You've got a little AP thing in there. Do you remember how to use it?
I don't actually, because I've
It's fun. So it's not does right clicking do the slight zoom then? It doesn't. Yeah. Okay, right. Is it? No, it's not that.
Not middle mouse button.
No.
V? Yay!
Hey!
V for bats.
Okay, shoot that dog 1,000 times in the head. Oh, is that it looks like then, sort of. Like. That was some bad angle. Also, his hair looks mad.
Yeah, it's kind of what I hope they kind of bring more in as well. Is that, like, they always have like great customer characterization where you can make really weird looking dudes.
Yeah.
But I would like just more options. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to get that extra level of customization, but also I'd also like them to maybe make that more meaningful, because whenever I played this game, I mean, I always spend a while in the character creator making a guy, and something like Mass Effect, I spent
You always
a long
go
time.
for Asian Elvis, isn't it?
I made Chinese Elvis. He was my
Yeah.
Mass Effect man, and he was a pretty cool guy. But thing is, in something like Mass Effect, it's a third-person game, and also whenever you're in conversations, the
Your
character is
pops
there
up.
and it's represented. Whereas in this is primarily a first-person thing. I spent a long time making my character in this initially, and then after playing it for a few hours, I felt as if that entire process was pointless, because I never ever saw their face, and even when I did, even whenever you go into, like, say they're like in VATS and it went out to a third person thing and
Yeah.
you saw them, I would always be wearing a helmet, because not wearing a helmet seriously depletes your armor
Yeah.
stat, you know, so you're always wearing a helmet in this game. And I just felt like customizing the face, ultimately there was no reason to even do it.
I'm one of those people that plays these games in a sort of sense of wearing what's cool, maybe not necessarily what's practical. So
Yeah.
I'd always kind of have like maybe like a cowboy hat or something like that. Nothing like no helmet.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always
You want to look like the hilarious post-apocalyptic stranger.
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
You want to be, you basically want to be the man with no name from
Yeah.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood. That's
Yeah, in the future.
yep.
Yeah.
But I always kind of liked I just leave him sitting there and then go make a cup of coffee and come back, and it does that
It
zoom
pans
out
around,
and
doesn't
pans
it?
around your guy, and I always kind of like that. It's always kind of like that wee sort of like, oh, that's my guy.
Oh, this is the town. I
Yeah,
know where this is.
Big Town, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Big
Hey,
Town.
who are you?
Yeah, there's like a horrible little community of
Right.
children, and they throw you out when you hit like 16 or something.
Yeah, that's
and you have to go live here.
Town, and yeah, this is
Yeah,
the
and
adult version.
it like gets attacked every
you can
night
never
by
be-
super mutants
Come
or
here.
something, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like the worst place to live in the
Yeah.
whole fucking wasteland. There you go. You're collecting quests.
Yeah,
It's always a
there you go.
nice thing to see. Yeah. So I haven't played a game like this in a while, so I'm so ready for another one of these.
Yeah.
I haven't played a game where it's just like, yeah, here we are, big open space, I'm gonna wander off. I mean, the last time I did was Skyrim.
Yeah.
And that was a while ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't thrown in The Witcher yet. I hear it's pretty good on that score, but I'm not gonna spend £60 on that game right now. So you know,
I think that's the thing. This is sort of like a franchise that I would like as soon as Fallout 4 comes out, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
wait for it to be in a Steam sale or anything.
oh
shit!
Oh, take your hands off the keyboard, and there we go. You were asking for it there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the kind of thing that you're going to be more likely to be comfortable with spending that money up front because you think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess you didn't really play the previous Witcher games at all, did you?
No,
No, you didn't play
I
Why are they all zero?
no,
I'd call
he's,
that a-
he's too close. I think.
Oh wow.
I think it's kind of like. Whoa.
Yeah,
Balls.
guns are ranged weapons, right? Yeah.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Yeah, so you say you'd be more comfortable with spending the full price on a game like this because would you say it's because you trust Bethesda to do
Yeah,
what
I
you're
mean,
looking for?
yeah, definitely.
Ah.
They are. They could make anything. I'd probably give it a go.
Yeah, it could be a flat expanse with one house in the middle.
Yeah.
And you'd still, that's probably going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think like Skyrim, God, I don't even know how many hours I've put into that, but I spent most of my time just dandering about. Like there
Yeah.
was no like, I didn't care about the main quest, but I didn't care that I didn't care. If
Yeah.
that makes sense, you know, it wasn't like New Vegas where it's kind of like I didn't care, and it kind of felt like I was cheapening the experience by
Yeah.
not caring.
I think that's sort of in contrast to in Oblivion. I certainly felt that way, and I didn't care about the main quest. But I think the reason I didn't care about the main quest in Oblivion is because it was really dull.
Right.
There was not a lot going on, and it was mostly, you know, and also if you spec your character, we were actually talking about this earlier. If you spec your character in a certain way in Oblivion, there was part of the story quest you couldn't really do. If you were trying to be sneaky or putting all your points into speech rather than straight up combat, you couldn't do the Oblivion gates.
Okay.
Really, it was just too hard to do it because there was no opportunities for sneaking or anything like that in those. I think they really tightened that up with Skyrim because I actually really like the main quest in Skyrim. I think as compared to Oblivion, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
The thing about Oblivion was that the rest of the game made up for that in spades because there was so much going on. Even if all you did was just play the Dark Brotherhood quest line in Oblivion, you were getting your worth out of it, and there was so much more than even just that. I think the same went for Skyrim, except that also the main quest was really good too. I like the story in this though.
Oh, I love the story in this. Like all the characters you meet. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm gonna
you're
die.
doomed.
I'm gonna die.
You're
I'm
not
too low
nearly at a
level.
level for a fucking super mutant.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's when's the last time you see? Now we're up to the when did you save last bit, which is my main enemy in this game.
I haven't, but I think when you discover a new place, does that work? Or
No,
is that Skyrim?
no,
That's
no,
Skyrim.
no. See, that's why Skyrim was better. That's why they broke. Like, you need to load. I think the last time you save would be when you left Megaton.
No, I haven't missed them. I haven't lost them.
Yeah, unless you manually save, the last save you have will be at the gates of Megaton when you came out of Megaton.
Oh, that's alright.
Now,
That's alright. This is
imagine you hadn't encountered that super mutant, and you had been playing for 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
and you will get what I was talking about earlier about losing a huge amount of progress. Imagine this happened 2 hours from now, and you had done loads of stuff, but you just hadn't loaded into anywhere.
That happened on my
Yeah.
360 playthroughs where you're
Yeah.
just like, but again, it's the sign of a great game. The fact that you get so sucked in.
Yeah, that you go back
Yeah.
after that happens, and I did
It's frustrating,
Yeah.
but you still just go back and do it
again and
Without-
again
yeah.
and again and again. Because that happened to me a lot, and still I managed to get all the way through and finish this game. And I completed almost all of the quests. I think I got all the achievements for it that didn't involve karma. So I think for every single side quest that there was an achievement attached to it. So I'm pretty sure I did everything in this game, except for the bits of DLC that weren't good, like the Pit and Mothership Zeta. I mean, the Pit was okay, but compared to Point Lookout, it was, you know.
I must admit, I'm probably quite a boring player in that regard, that I just kind of... I mean, I try to play through doing slightly different things each time,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I've never blown up Megaton.
Yes.
I can't do it.
I did. And
I
I felt terrible. I felt terrible, but I just accepted it. With these games, as far as I'm concerned, I might make a second decision, and I might realize afterwards it was, you know, perhaps not a good decision, but I can never justify loading up a previous save.
Oh no, that's it. I'm never going to go... Like,
Yeah.
once you make a decision, that's it.
Yeah, you committing to it. I find
Yeah.
that committing to your decisions in these games makes them a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Because those, a lot of the times they follow you around for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Especially when somebody, like, just mentions it offhand, or...
Yeah. Or
You're that guy!
or someone literally won't help you
Yeah.
because you did that. Yeah, that stuff's fun. I mean, they did that a fair bit. In Skyrim had that where people would talk to you relative to things that you did. Although, you know, then you'd also get to the point where you've done so much stuff that you're basically the greatest hero of all time. But then you come across someone who was just really snippy with you, and you'd be like, "Excuse me, not only have I saved the world, I'm also the head of the Mages Guild, and you're talking to me like I'm some bum that walked in off the street." Yeah, so there's that, but I guess, you know, you gotta kind of accept that, because
Yeah. It would be impossible to cover all.
yeah, for a developer to take all that stuff into account and change everyone's dialogue to suit,
Yeah.
it would be an insanely huge task that it's just not, it just wouldn't be worth it
Yeah.
for any of them. It'd be cool if they did, but yeah, at the same time, you know, how much would people really appreciate that if you did it? They probably wouldn't. They'd probably find something else to complain about. On there. Is that a bandito?
It's
Dear. Yeah, see what you've done is you're now wandering around at night.
I'm just waiting to die, essentially.
Yeah. You're about to die?
Yep.
You haven't got you're not very good on the health there. Dear.
I love that explosion.
That's pretty cool, that little mushroom cloud happening there. Which brings me on to my favourite weapon in this game. It was the big boy.
yes, yeah.
The big boy, the personal rocket launcher that shot nukes. which I used exclusively on the Super Mutant Overlords, I think.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. The effect from
And then
that.
the big things.
Yeah, the big, huge,
Yeah,
massive
the Goliaths.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah, or whatever they were. Is that what they were called? I don't
I
remember.
can't remember.
Yeah, but those ones. Anyway, there was an achievement for killing them all. I know that, which is the only reason I went and sought them all out. It was because I wanted to get that achievement. This is back when I gave a shit. Oh, that looked very uncomfortable. I don't even know what did you.
I don't know.
What got you there?
I've no idea. No idea.
Yeah, there you go. You're back in there.
Okay.
See.
Well, that's probably a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
So what would be your one thing if you could have it in Fallout 4? What would it be?
Oh, like improvements over this, or just something
Yeah,
I'd like to
or
see
something that
in
you'd
it?
like to see kept.
Okay, well,
Like, what would be the main?
I mean, I'm not sure about. Something I didn't like about this game was the. There's a lack of grey area when it comes to the moral choices in this game.
Yeah.
The way they handle the karma meter, you know, it's going to one side or the other. And
Yeah.
You just basically get locked out of stuff either way. I'd like them to maybe adapt that a bit so it's not just a straight up, here's the evil choice, here's the good choice. You know,
And a very sort of loose, neutral.
yeah, maybe even just throw out the karma system altogether. Although I know it solves a lot of problems for them when it comes to like the thing I was actually talking about earlier about
People reacting,
how
yeah.
people treat you. But I don't know. It feels a little bit too clinical, like, you know, like it's another stat
Yeah.
that you have. Whereas, you know, there's very rarely a middle ground. It's either you are the greatest person ever, or you're the meanest son of a bitch who ever
Yeah.
walked the earth. You know, it's the same thing that a lot of games have that. Like Mass Effect is definitely guilty of that.
Oh yeah.
There are things in Mass Effect where if you didn't go like lean into being a badass or being good, there were things that just wouldn't work for you.
Yeah.
Like it would lock you out of conversation options if one side wasn't high enough
Yeah.
over the other. And I don't think I don't really like that. You know, because I could be a mean son of a bitch and nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You know, it's
If you act appropriately to each situation,
Plus
you end
you
up
kinda wanna-
staying in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you're kind of fucked.
because you want to be like, I guess, you know, you want to have the option to be like the complete anti-hero,
Yes.
where you know you still can punch the reporter in the face,
Yeah, exactly.
but save the orphanage.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely moral choice. Better
Yeah.
moral choice would be better.
Being a bit less, you know, black and white with that stuff, I think would do them well.
Yeah.
Also, it's a niggling complaint. It'd be okay if they didn't do it, but I would, you know, like to. I'd like maybe the animations and the actual your personal character movement be a bit more, you know, heavy and real. Because as I said in this one, you kind of feel like you're just in a disembodied gun floating around the wasteland talking to people when you're moving about. But
Again,
it's not a big
I've
deal.
been so sucked in by it, but
Yeah.
that I never.
Yeah.
If they had iron sights, that's the one thing. One thing
Yeah.
I want is iron sights. I play the game where I sneak about all the time.
Mhm.
I love finding bandit camps and peering over, and like setting a few mines down. Like positioning myself so they're going to run at me over the mines, and I'm like hiding up on a ridge,
Yeah.
and I like doing that. And without the iron sights, it doesn't feel real. You feel like say like a disembodied hand. Where I'd rather feel like I'm the one taking the shots.
Yeah. I mean, it is a role-playing game. It's
Yes.
an RPG.
Yeah, that's it.
Being sucked in is what it's all about, and like kind of like being a character, I guess. Like deciding beforehand, I'm gonna be this kind of person, but
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna be all good or all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's my main niggle. However, if they were to just smarten this up, write a whole new quest line and just fill it with more stuff, I think I'd probably still be alright with it, you know?
I'd be perfectly happy with that, to be
Yeah.
honest. I guess I just have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Alright. Well, thanks for sitting down with me and rapping about this.
No worries.
Yeah, cool. I guess we'll see you next time.